This has always been something difficult to talk about, and
when you're a kid, you should be thinking about, where do I want to ride my bike today? Where do I want to go and explore? Instead of, how do I not make him mad today? How can I stay in his good graces? How can I look out for my siblings? Or where did those bruises come from on my mom?
He would make promises for us. There was no follow through, and that's when I really started getting concerned about his manipulation and lying to us.
And then one day my mom comes home and just asks us if we want to leave, our father. And just instantly, like, we just look around at each other and we're just like, yes.
I opened the door to change and to empowerment and to freedom and to joy and to a future. I am Susan Foster, and I survived a toxic relationship along with my 4 children.
Susan's story, the paths she's walked, the mountain she's climbed, and she said, Bill, I need your help. I'm writing a book. I want to speak. I want to get this message out. I want to share what's happened to me and to my children.
This is my strong friend. I mean, this is my friend who was grounded, who had a great head on her shoulders. So if this could happen to Susan, it makes me really concerned of how many other people this can happen to.
The motivation behind the book really is that when I would share my story, I would find other people coming out of their hiding place and say, me too, this happened to me. And I found it from every walk of life, both genders. Everyone seemed to have a story, and I realized, but I'm the only person you're ever telling this to, or I'm one of few, a very few, and I realized there's so much shame in this sort of abuse.
One of the conclusions I came from reading Susan's book was that it's a roadmap for helping you take those next steps for getting help. And she shares her story so well that as you read that book, you realize there's a tremendous amount of help out there. And I think it even surprised her. So it truly is amazing what you can get from her book to help you overcome those fears and make the decisions you need to make.
I had to acknowledge my fear, and I had to realize that I had to change. To know thyself was the most freeing thing I learned. It was a quote that just came passing through from Socrates. It was this ancient, wise old sage. And I thought, know thyself. I don't know me. And as confident as I have been, as accomplished as I had been, I realized that even prior to entering into an abusive relationship, I did not know who I was. And I didn't know my worth.
Now she can tell her story and be free to tell her story. No more fear. The fear is over.
What Susan went through and how she was able to pull it all together. And I hope that she can take her story just like mine. You know, I mean, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I was an addict. I'm an overcomer. And so is Susan.
The future, it's hard to project the future. We simply can't. But I can say this, that domestic abuse is going to find a new face of change in Susan Foster.
It's very brave of her to open her soul in such a way that you expose yourself to the entire world, and I'm very, very proud of her.
I am an advocate for others who are either still in abusive relationship or are still struggling with having been in one.
I feel like what my mother's trying to do is bring out the secrets that everyone wants to hide when they feel abused mentally or physically.
So my mom's mission isn't to scare away the people that are abusing. It's to strengthen the people that are abused. That's what they need. It's not that they need to be saved. They need to be strengthened. They need to be built up.
And I love her approach to raising more awareness about men that find themselves in these very violent situations, because oftentimes it is just focused on women. And
the fact that my mom is taking the steps toward writing this book and sharing her story and being brave enough to do that, and us being brave enough to share as well, is going to help countless people, hopefully.